gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of TT Online Community Voices, where we bring the voices to the community. Because normally, you know that we would come around and we would be in the community physically. Due to COVID-19 and this pandemic that we would never dream we would have been in, we got to change things up a bit. We got to do things virtually as we are all getting accustomed to at this point in time. So welcome, because today I have with me an esteemed panel of not only entrepreneurs, but experts in their field. And we're going to discuss a bit, and I want to make sure that we get everything down-packed and everything broken down for young, budding entrepreneurs. So this episode is all about entrepreneurship and about business. So let me start introducing my panel. So I will start on my left-hand side. I would start by introducing the man himself. He's a mixologist, Mr. Ricardo Madhu Singh. Ricardo, where are the drinks? You're a mixologist, not?
I didn't bring any drinks today.
I look it up for the drinks. I say the man coming with something. Yeah. And then to my left, we also have a representative from NDEC. She's a loan administrator. Let's introduce to you Ms. Leslie-Ann Morris Elisha. Welcome, Leslie-Ann.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here with us.
Oh, thank you.
All right. And to my right, I'm going to start with the lovely lady on my right-hand side. We have with us Miss Chanel Fife. I pronounce that right, Chanel?
Yes.
All right. So, Chanel, tell us what's the name of your business?
Jeunesse.
Jeunesse.
Yes.
And what does that mean?
It means of youth in French Creole.
Of youth.
So it's fancy.
Fancy, very fancy.
Fancy. Fancy. That's when you're sipping your tea and take your fingers.
Very fancy.
And then from the Unit Trust Corporation of Trinidad and Tobago, we have with us Assistant VP of Reputation Management, Mr. Emil Clifton.
Thank you for
so
having
Emil,
me.
thanks for coming
Thank you
and
for
joining
having me.
us.
Thank you.
All right, so let me start with Leslie-Ann. In terms of NDEC, now myself, I had a small business at a point in time, and we always heard about NDEC. So tell us first, what does NDEC stand for, and what is NDEC?
NDEC is National Entrepreneurship Development Company Limited. NDEC was a vision of our late Prime Minister, Patrick Manning.
Right.
19 years ago, last month, August, NDEC was 19 years old. So we have been around for many years. The vision was to assist entrepreneurs, you know, young budding people who are making a living by selling and all those things, who would not be able to access a loan from the bank and other financial institutions. So the government set up this institution, NDEC, and it was meant to assist those who had a vision, who had a passion, who had an idea, and they wanted to turn it into business to make a profit, to be an entrepreneur. But NDEC was designed that you will not remain a hustler. You know, a hustler is somebody who is out there trying to make a quick dollar, and they do not have a vision about longevity and registering your business and all those things. The vision was to ensure that the persons who have that idea, taking all the risks to make the profit, that they will be able to be sustainable. And therefore, when you're sustainable and you become viable, we were there to assist you with training and mentorship, business advisory. We are still doing that these days. And as with community development, we have our online presence where we are doing webinars and different training.
It's not just getting loans, because I know you mentioned, in fact, that it's difficult for a young budding entrepreneur to get a loan from a bank. So normally they would think of coming to NDEC, but you all also offer other items other than financial loans.
Yes, we do. Because the idea is for you, for NDEC to support you with your idea or your dream, so that you will have sustainability in your business for you to succeed.
Right.
So that's why in the initial stages, this is not something we have now started to do. With the loan, we have the business advisory. We work with you because we have a business development. And we work with you and we assist you to develop the idea, to develop the business. That's why Netco will also give, when nobody will take a chance on you as a startup, Netco will fund you with a startup business.
Right. Because anyone out there thinking of you have this plan or this business idea or this dream to open your own business, let me start you off by letting you know it's going to be difficult to start as a business owner, as an entrepreneur. And we're going to get to and speak to a couple of entrepreneurs who will give you that side of things. But I can tell you that if you're going to start up your own business and you head to a bank, it is risky for the bank to want to give you a loan. So, and we will come to Emil, who will give us that side of things too, is that as an entrepreneur, banks sometimes are not too inclined to give loans to young entrepreneurs because of the risk involved. So, Emil, tell us a bit about the risk involved in...
Sure. It's interesting that you started your room because Unitrust Corporation is actually not a bank. What we are is an investment management company.
Right.
So you bring $1 into us, we turn it into $1.10, $1.15. So if it is we speak to that space of risk, how it is we help to mitigate or to lessen some of those risks is to help to teach people how to structure better businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Running a business is not as simple as just having a product and coming out and sell, and you have, quite a few people on Instagram or Facebook, and it's not just about sales.
Mm-hmm.
There are many components to what a business really is. Most times people don't look at businesses holistically. And that's why we find that most businesses actually tend to fail, because they tend to gravitate towards that space that they are strongest in, most passionate about, and can do to the best of their ability. So that's why running a business is really difficult. It's not easy. But with the right guidance, right support, coaching, mentorship, it makes it a little easier.
Right. So we know that the business is risky and it will be difficult to get the financing. And this is where Netco would come in. So this is where I want to bring in Chanel, because Chanel, you would have gone through that process of being an entrepreneur. And tell us your story. Was it difficult initially when you were starting your business to find funding to get the business off the ground?
So when I started roughly about 8 years ago, I mostly took money that I would have made through doing odd jobs on campus in UWI while I was doing my degree. And I would take that and buy ingredients. And then, interestingly, while I was on campus, Netco came into the picture. They had a competition. I entered a Netco boot camp back then. And I came forward then, and that was the very first cash injection that I got into my business. So I came forward and I won $4,000, and that money really literally started my business. Because back then, you're on campus, you're doing what you have to do to get through. So I didn't have no money back then, and that really helped. That was the first cash injection. And then when I left, and your ultimate goal, you think you're going to get that 8 to 4 job. And I realized, hey, that's not the direction that I am to go, because I started to get orders and I wasn't able to fulfill it because I didn't have enough cash to put in. So that's when I approached Netco and I got my very first loan. And the process was not vigorous at all. It was easy. My husband and I, we probably got roughly about $30,000 to inject into our business. And through that, we bought packaging, we bought ingredients, and we really stocked up. And that is what helped started my business.
So first of all, we're talking about your business, but tell us a bit about what is your business?
Oh, so Dijonnaise, that's the interesting part. Dijonnaise, as I mentioned before, means of youth in French Creole. So while I was on hall, it had a melting pot of all different cultures. And someone from St. Lucia told me that, hey, I was asking him, okay, how to name my business? He's like, what do you want it to do? I was like, well, I want my products to be youthful, to make people feel younger and more beautiful. And he was like, well, in St. Lucia, youth means jeunesse. So I was like, oh, that's cool. I love that. And then Dijonnaise came together to mean of youth. And through that, my business started to propel forward. And I think that is what really started my business.
Right. So your business does, you said bath and
And
body
body soap.
works with body soaps.
Yeah, so we manufacture natural soaps, we manufacture handmade creams and stuff, and we distribute it to Massey Maraval, and we also distribute it to Massey in Marabella.
Okay.
And we have it in Starlight and Excellent stores as well.
All
and
right.
all handmade, right in mover.
So tying this back into NDEC now, you have the idea, you got you came forth in the competition, you got your $4,000, you started, and then you applied for this loan from NDEC, and you got the $30,000.
Yes.
Right. And in terms of that process, could you walk us through that process of how do you apply if you have from idea to getting the loan to starting your business? How could someone do that?
Once you have your idea, you can come into NDEC. You must be a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago or have your citizenship, either by birth or by citizenship. You must be over 18 years old. And it's minimal. You see, once you have a vision, and this is one thing an entrepreneur needs. Once you have a vision, you have to run with the vision. And you have to systematically do the things to make your vision come into being and for you to be sustainable and viable. So we ask you for a number according to the sector that you're in, whether you're into beauty, you're into food. Because we are a government institute, there must be, your business must be registered.
So your business must be registered.
It must be registered because this is the government, and the government will not encourage you to break the law.
Right.
So, and you see, when you register your business, it shows the mind of an entrepreneur. It shows that you are thinking long term. So when you register this business, then of course you will then come and you'll bring your 2 forms of ID, your proof of address, you know, some according to the amount you're asking for, we'll ask for your business plan. But if it's a small amount, you know, and the business plan is for us to get an idea of your vision for your business. Your business plan is a roadmap to show how you think about your business, and it's a changing, living, working document that when you write your vision, and when you have your goal and you write it down, most time it's manifested.
Right.
So you come with all the documents that are required, and as I said, according to your sector, what else would, because each sector will have a different entity that they will ask you for. And you make up once you get all the documents, you call us and we set up an appointment for you to come see a business development officer.
Right.
You understand, you hear what I said, not a loans officer. A business development officer helps you develop your business. By giving you a loan, they work with you to ensure that you do not become delinquent, and if there's a problem in the business, and even after we give you the loan, there are our business advisory team who will visit you to see how the business, especially with a startup, you know, how the business is going and in what way we can help you. And first-time borrowers can get up to $250,000.
All right.
Yeah, all normal lending criteria.
So this is a loan, not a grant.
This is a loan.
So that good just ain't giving away money.
No, we are not just giving away money. And you see what it does, you know, one thing, when you invest in your business in terms of monetary, it makes you have a vested interest in it.
Right.
And so they will ask you for some form of collateral. You understand? And the collateral is not because we want to give you the money. It is to show your commitment to your vision and your dreams, your ideas.
So to those who are looking at us who don't know what collateral is, what would you say is collateral? Collateral
is when NDEC asks you for a product, either money in unit trust,
right?
The bank, fixed deposit, or those things. We will even take if your vehicle is free from encumbrance, you're not owing on.
So you're not owing on the vehicle. They can use the vehicle
you can use your vehicle. You can have a guarantor. But each person, as I said, normal lending criteria. each loan is unique and is different because there are many factors that are taken into consideration when processing your loan.
Right. But I must say though that for entrepreneurs that I've spoken to in the business world, they would say that it would be way easier for them to acquire a loan for a startup from NDEC than it would be from general banks. Because that NDEC is tailored directly towards supporting entrepreneurs, it would be easier lending criteria that they would have to go through with NDEC. And as well, what they would provide at NDEC, as you mentioned, would be the support for the young budding entrepreneur who would be new to this. And one of the things that you did mention that stood out was a business plan. And Chanel would know this in terms of you starting your business and you must have a business plan. So Chanel, did you develop a business plan before rolling out your business?
So yes, definitely. Before that, I did the Career Hatchery program in which I was in the incubator program. Through that, I had a business plan before, so it made the process of applying for the loan a lot easier. So a lot of times when you do courses, it's kind of transferable. So through that business plan, they further helped me develop, NDEC further helped me develop the plan to their criteria, and I was able to use that. So it was very...
And you found that the business plan was useful in your business itself?
Definitely. It helped clarify, because, you know, sometimes you have a lot of ideas in your head, but you don't know how to put it on paper. So when you get help and guidance in terms of translating your vision, your mission onto a piece of paper, it helps make your business have more structure. So that was because I did my degree in literature and English, which had nothing to do with business.
Right.
So going in that direction was like a total game changer for my mind mentally. So doing the business plan, as I said, helped me able to develop my business skills and helped me to be able to strategize, have clear steps, production, techniques, and different things in terms of, for example, mitigating risk as well, which was very important because risk in business is a reality and the business plan helps with mitigating some risk.
So I would add to that too, right? Because I was in the same boat that Chanel was in that my degree background was in engineering and then I decided to start up a business. And Emil, I will tell you, I knew nothing about business at all. In terms of balance sheets and all of those things, I didn't. But what I found was really helpful was the business plan. So when I put everything on paper, then I would realize, okay, we need this, we need that, the other. And it also gave you a process map of how to go about starting a business. And you yourself, Amy, were telling me before that you had a business yourself that you would have started. And tying it back into unit trust, what support would unit trust give for young budding entrepreneurs?
So I think a big part of what it is we're doing now and what we plan to do going forward, it goes back all the way to the mandate of the business of creating a culture and a community of wealth, understanding savings and investing, and wealth creation. In 1982, when we started, we had the Growth and Income Fund, which was a catalyst for creating wealth nationally. Now we want to do that utilizing entrepreneurship.
Right.
So if we take it back a couple steps, if it is we're saying we're using a tool called entrepreneurship to facilitate wealth, we also supported the whole financial services landscape, which is also what it is we want to do by supporting the ecosystem. How are you going to do that? Not just by looking at the business, but also looking at the different persons, the market actors. So you're going to need academia, we're going to need policymakers, we're going to need also supporters through government, other entrepreneurs, financial companies, NDEC. So that's on the macro scale. When we come back internally now, the business plan is excellent, but there's some steroids we could add to that. You know, there are different components that you can utilize to continue keeping that business plan alive and living. And, you know, different schools are taught something called the business model canvas, where you take that business plan, which is very structured and how it is a bank may want it, not necessarily NDEC, and break your business out into 9 different components.
Right.
Starting with your customer, all the way down to how it is you make profit. So our role really in this sits in the sweet spot of understanding the landscape and all the different market players, and we sit in the middle there to help to coach and guide how it is to build a successful business.
So you're providing a coaching service itself for these entrepreneurs. So if someone is interested in getting that, how do they go about accessing it from unit trust?
All right. So when I spoke earlier to us delving in the space of the entrepreneurial ecosystem, there are different components of entrepreneurship. You have somebody who's aspiring, don't really know where to start looking for information. You have the early stage startup. They have already started, they start to do some stuff, but there isn't any real structure to the business. And then you put the structure in now, and you're at the point now, after having the structure, where you're ready to scale. We started off in the space where it is we thought we could get the best results, the best KPIs for the industry. So we launched a program called Scale Up for businesses earning between $3 million or $2 million actually, to probably about 30 million. Structured businesses, companies that were in operation for a while, had some success and wanted to grow the business. That's what I mean by when I say scale. What we found is when we put them into that boot camp, the facilitators focus on three things: cash, capacity, meaning vision, mission, the team, and also the customer. After 3 months in that boot camp, we would have seen those companies creating 13 jobs. 13, 1-3. 11 companies,
Right.
13 jobs. And not at a clerical level, managerial level, and even more senior. We'd have seen persons open new markets. Jamaica, Suriname, Guyana, parts of Europe, parts of the States. Some persons also said they would have experienced up to about 85% growth in exports.
Right.
Up to 30% growth in sales. I'm just showing you. Imagine we did 1,100 companies, what I would do for the country.
Right.
So it's very patriotic, very focused on the broader picture of growing that conversation about entrepreneurship.
So a young entrepreneur,
Yes.
do they just walk straight into unit trust and say, well, I need help?
We recently signed an agreement with UE Ventures, where we're going to be dealing with early stage companies. You're going to be seeing marketing material coming out from us. Different social media platforms, traditional media, and they just apply.
Right.
They just apply. We also have something called Europreneur. It's called our U-Hub. You can just join us. Go on to europreneur.com or uhub.tt.com and join our community. There's some very good content there that speaks to different components of the business. We have different webinars and coaching sessions that were done. I don't delve too much into this.
Well, is there anything like financial literacy advice?
Yes, there are columns and articles that would speak to, especially now during the pandemic, how to manage some of your finances.
Right.
But that's one part of it, remember, that's just part of the puzzle.
Yeah.
You know, it's the business and the mission and the vision, the team and who you have around you. You may not be able to pay staff, but you could have a partner who understands what you don't understand.
Right.
You know?
So Leslie, in terms of this coaching of the entrepreneur, do you all teach them how to manage their finances?
What NETCO have done, because it is a 3-in-1 loan, business advisory, and training. So one of the mandate is that we make it mandatory that our clients, when we give them the loan, that they access at least one training. And most of them choose the record keeping and cash management. Some teach costing and pricing. Those are some of we really have some beautiful courses.
But I didn't even know that you'll offer all of these things, so you'll have the courses for the entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Because I can tell you, it's starting off as an entrepreneur myself. You have no clue of what is taking place. You just have this, and I don't know if Chanel and Amy went through this, but you have this idea, and you have this dream, and you want to get there. But to get from here to the dream, you don't know how you're doing it, and it's like you jump out a plane, and you're building the parachute as you go down.
Many dots to connect.
And we just building this, and I think that's the life as an entrepreneur for me now. You jump out this plane, man, and you just build it as you go. And it's not easy. So I'm happy to hear that you all have some.
Yes,
so tell us about some of the courses.
Yes, because I spoke about we even have the digital, those things with the platform, the digital online.
Right.
Those things. We have those things. We have tendering for contracts. Anything that an entrepreneur would ever think about. There is taxes, teaching you about your taxes and all that. I am telling you, it is the program. You are mandated to do one training when you take your loan. But there are all these other trainings that are available to you. And for clients, you get a discount from non-clients. So that's why everybody should come and be a client of Netco.
Right.
You know, because you get a discount.
Let's say you're an entrepreneur and you're thinking, all right, I want to go and start my business and I head into Nedco and I want to get this loan. What sort of interest rate? And I know I'm getting into a little more the detail of the loan itself. Do I have to you said I might have to provide some collateral. What sort of interest rates we looking at with Nedco and what sort of payment periods? I know each loan will vary, but on average, like what we're dealing with here with the loans?
Well, because Netco was set up as an order of cabinet, from the inception, the interest rate have been 8%.
8%.
And it have not changed because for it to change, that will have to be, cabinet will have to decide that.
Right.
So, but you access the maximum will give you a loan for 5 years.
5 years.
But within that, you can come and refinance the loan as you go along. Because remember, we are working with you. We are developing your business because you might start off accessing funding for stock. But as you go along, if you are improving your skill set and your mindset, expanding your thoughts, you will not only think locally, you think about global.
Right.
Taking your business global, extending your customer base global. And when you think that way, then you will start investing in you. You know, I love this statement. As an entrepreneur, you are your own money machine. Because many businesses die when the visionary die. The vision die with them. But when you're an entrepreneur, you think about legacy. You think about leaving something for somebody and making a difference in your community and boosting the economy. So with that interest rate and that level of 5 years maximum, according to what type of loan you're taking, whether it's equipment, whether it's we do purchase vehicle. And even right now, we have the eco with the CNG, where we have this encouraging people, entrepreneurs, people maxi taxis to convert their vehicles to CNG.
Right.
Yes, that's a special package that we have right now. And and now, even with the pandemic, we are encouraging people to come and at least take a $15,000 because to boost, you know, that's small people, you know, when everything was on a shutdown, you were not generating cash and all that. Come to Netco, we give you a boost.
Yeah, because, all right, so we're now coming out, we're still in this pandemic. We don't know how long. I'm going to say we're coming out, but we ain't sure. We're hoping to come out, but things are opening back up.
Opening back
right?
up.
Things are
So
opening back
hope.
up, and there's hope. And there are businesses that are reopening that still need to catch themselves because they would have lost so much income before. Is it that they could come to Netco, as they say, to get that boost, to get their business back up and running?
Yes, we encourage them to come. That's what Netco is there for.
Right.
And people need to know that they can access funding from Netco. Netco is here to help you. We'll all get through this together.
Right.
You know? And we encourage you to access the webinars. It's free. We had one recently with NIB. That was really interesting. We have with team building and networking, all those things, because you cannot, as an entrepreneur, you're not alone. You should not be alone. When you're networking and you have the mentors and things, sometimes you want to give up. You know, the mentor, somebody in your network would encourage you, keep on, because a lot of time, as we know as entrepreneurs, you want to give up.
Yeah. So how do people access these webinars?
We have it. You can visit our website, not our website, our Facebook page, our Instagram page, or even our Twitter. Or you can call any one of our branches and we will tell you how.
Head online and they can get it or make a call. And you access these free, and they said it's free.
Yes, it really is
these free
free.
webinars.
At least once a month we give at least 1 or 2 webinars.
Okay, so we're in this pandemic and I have lost my job. So now the job market is difficult. A lot of people aren't hiring because businesses are slowly reopening and all of that. So I'm in this mindset of, okay, what am I to do now? I have all of these great ideas, but I have never started a business before. So I start to put pen to paper and I write down some ideas and I start to do my business plan. And let's say if I want to do a food business, I'm trying to use the skills that I have, right? And I could cook. And I decide I want to start a food business. Can I come to NEDCO to see if I get the funding to start this food business, to buy a cart or whatever it is, maybe?
Most definitely. Because that's what we are there for, you know, but we'll ask you for your food badge. We'll ask you for public health to come inspect your kitchen because remember, we are government. So we have to be mindful of the general public. Yeah, and we help
you can
you.
start, and you can help them, and you'll be able to coach them.
Yeah, we could buy you some stock, you know, some groceries, so that you ain't have to study to let the little money you make every day to go to the grocery again. We buy you enough grocery or so that you have enough time to turn it over and really see the profit being made.
Yeah, because
for minimal
even with those businesses, because I know a lot of people, they think, okay, well, I want to go and start selling food somewhere, but you need seed capital to start because I would need to buy some stock. I would need to buy whatever food items you're going to be selling. I need to buy the stock to start. Sometimes you may even need equipment.
Yeah.
Whether it's a deep fryer or a grill or whatever it may be that you're going to sell. Even in Chanel's business, I'm sure she may have equipment that she would use to make this stuff. And equipment in some industries would be expensive. And that's where you would need capital to start. Yeah.
That's actually where I fell the hardest, actually. So, I mean, these ladies here dropping some serious nuggets, right? I remember doing some research on a South African venture capitalist that said money injected into your business, capital, needs to be patient, not cheap. Patient. That's what NEDCO is offering there. She's saying come in, borrow, and eventually, you know, if it is you need help, you come and refinance. We're more in the probably private equity space. What I want to say is that as an entrepreneur, a business person now trying to start, probably NEDCO is the only place you need to go to get your funds to start. Because you tend to find sometimes institutions, when the sun is hot, give you an umbrella. And when it starts to rain, they take it away. That's where it is the patient and the cheap stuff comes in. What I'm trying to say more than anything else is, you're now starting and you have an idea, go test it out.
Right.
You don't necessarily need a set of money to start, you know. What you need is confirmation that your idea works. If it is you need a set of equipment and it's capital intensive, I think we need to, as entrepreneurs, think about how it is we could bring that to market. There's a term for it. It's called the MVP, the minimum viable product.
Right.
Bring it to market and see how many people is interested to buy. So you have an idea. You say, okay, how many people's pain are solving with this idea? All right. If it's plenty people, perfect. There's an opportunity that I could make some money. Based on this idea that I have, if I price it at this particular point, would the people buy it? If the answer is all right, are these people that I actually want to work with going forward? And if the answer to that is all right as well, it's a fantastic opportunity.
Right.
Build out something that you feel proud enough that you could sell to a couple friends, family, and other people you think you could buy. And if you get traction there, that's how you launch. Then you start to borrow money, just as, Chanel said, incrementally. That's why I made a big error.
Right.
I borrowed a whole set of money. My plans didn't work exactly how it is I planned them to. They never do. And things went against us. So just say, learn from my pain. Start small. You could make small steps, but you could walk quickly while you make any small steps. And you tweak as you go along. You say, this idea doesn't make any sense. So you pivot, you come back. Or this idea makes sense, you know, but I need to change components of the product or the service to serve the customer's pain better. And then you continue to go.
Well, I taking a point from what Amy said in that start with what you have.
Correct.
And bring the product to market. And this leads me into bringing Ricardo into the freebie because Ricardo is someone who would have been a part of the community development program. And I know there are a lot of people out there with these ideas and you don't know how to bring it to the forefront because it may be a skill that you may have, that you may need to develop. and get the certification to do it. And Ricardo, I want you to be able to tell us, in terms of the community development program, which program was it that you enrolled in and how that would have helped you to propel your career? Because I know you're a mixologist.
All right, so the program that I got involved in is bartending and mixology.
Right.
That was in 2013 in April. I was just a normal warehouse worker, you know, I was working like for $400 a week. You know, and there was a couple of the older women who was working in the packaging, and they were discussing, you know, there's a course in the papers, you know, we should go and take it, mixology and bartending, you know. And where I used to live in Endeavor, it was walking, it's a very long walk to Shogunas, and didn't have that amount of money, so I actually used to walk and go to the course every day.
Oh, good.
Every day. And when I started doing the course, I understand the chemistry behind the course, and I told myself, Ricardo, you know, you can make something out of yourself with this. And the passion and the drive that I had for that, I got the certificate, I moved to South, and there where my life started. I started working for one of the most famous clubs in South. I don't know if it's, you know, I shouldn't even say the name. And from there, I even started my own YouTube channel.
Right.
And from there, I branch off with different companies in Trinidad that has alcohol-based, representing brands and all of these things, you know. And I would really like to reach out to other people who is in that situation that I was, to help them build themselves and to reach somewhere in life, and not just let them know that bartending is just not just standing behind a bar and serving a beer.
Let me get a rum and coke there.
Yeah, you know, it has a lot of potential people to travel the world. And, you know,
And you speak about traveling the world, and I was hearing that you won some competitions outside of Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes, I've traveled a lot. I have won, I got third place in the Caribbean in the 2016, yeah, I believe, yeah. And I've traveled otherwise I went to New Orleans, and I entered a competition in New Orleans. This is one of my greatest memory. And I came second, and the guy, he came to me and he said, what country are you from? I said, from Trinidad and Tobago. He said, where is that? I said, in the Caribbean. He said, oh, Jamaica.
Oh, gosh.
And I was like, I didn't want to carry on the conversation. I was like, okay, yeah.
No, we are not part of Jamaica.
Yeah.
We are part of Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean, right? So all of this, and this man still didn't bring our drink, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Ricardo, back to that program, because I'm thinking to myself, there are some people who will be watching us right now, and they're thinking that they're not sure what they want to do with their lives. They may not be too academically inclined or want to go down that path, or they may just be interested in doing a craft or doing a course, and they may not know that the community development program exists and that there are a host of different courses. And look how you just came across it in the newspaper and they decided to go. So what advice would you have for a young person who is stuck in a situation where they're not really too happy with where their life is now? They want to progress, but they don't know where to go.
Well, my advice basically is just to go for the community development programs, because it has helped me. And I would like to reach out to other people, because I'm also a tutor with the mixology and bartending with the community development. And I also reach out to the youths in my area. I live in Pinal. And privately, you know, I help them build their self, you know, and I always want to reach out to the youths in the area and help out somebody. And, you know, I always want to do it with no cost.
Right.
And anybody that wants to come to meet with me for me to help them build themselves, I'm always willing to help. You know, get an employment, teaching them my skill and let them understand about alcohol. And alcohol is amazing. It's wonderful. No, sure, it is.
I second that.
Not for kids, not for kids, but yes.
And my mixology tutor, I spoke to her this morning before I came, and she said to me, Ricardo, you know what's one of the most amazing things with you? To this day that you love alcohol so much and you don't drink. I don't drink alcohol. And
all right.
my nickname in work is actually the alcoholic that don't drink.
The alcoholic that don't drink.
I have the passion and the love for the history behind it. Our country For instance, some of our brands like Angostura Bitters has a rich history that we should know about. You know, alcohol itself has a big history, and you know, it is enticing. You know.
So what was that feeling like going across in these different countries to represent Trinidad and Tobago and placing? What was that like?
It was amazing. It was a dream that I didn't have. Yeah, I did it because I did it for love, and I was excited about it.
Right.
And for fun. I do everything with alcohol just for fun, and this is what I love doing. I don't do it for salary or don't do it for payments or anything. I do it for fun.
You all seeing, he just decided and he walked. He was doing it against all odds, and he walked and went to his course in a community development program, and that could be you. It could be whichever craft you're interested in, whatever it may be. Check out to see which courses are being offered and go further yourself. And you never know, you could be the next Ricardo, mixing drinks all over the world, winning awards and helping people. And what's your YouTube channel? Tell us your YouTube channel.
The Alcohol Guru.
The Alcohol Guru. All right, the Alcohol. So next time we bring you on the show, what drink you want there? Yeah, Scotch, what you want there?
Yeah, have some.
I'll go with the rum.
I recently did a unboxing of the Glenfiddich whiskey. You all should take a look at it on my YouTube channel, The Alcohol Guru.
Okay.
It's really nice.
Fancy. So Chanel, I want to come to you because I knew that you would have taken that entire journey as an entrepreneur. So walk us through, as a young person who is looking at us now, what are some of the obstacles and some of the wins that they could expect? Give us a kind of a brief summary of that journey from when you started to where you are now as an entrepreneur.
Right. So when I started, I actually got the teaching job, right? So I used to teach a school. And while teaching, I used to write orders on the board instead of the children homework. So that's where I decided, hey, I have to choose. And that is where a lot of entrepreneurs or persons who want to be entrepreneurs would end up at the crossroad where you have to decide, okay, do I take that 8 to 4 job or do I follow my passion and my dream? So that's the first obstacle, right? The second obstacle is funding. So my last teaching salary, I hold on to that with dear life, right? That last salary, I was like, okay, because I don't know what the next salary, because I literally, as you mentioned before, jumped off the plane without a parachute, and that last salary was to buy the parachute, right? And so when I jumped, but it wasn't enough. Let me just put that there. It wasn't enough. And, you know, when I left and used that last salary to inject into my business, along with my NDEC loan, that's where I started. So people really need to sit down and plan. So what I did is I sat down and planned exactly my way forward, what I want to do, where I want to reach. I want my own website. I want to ship internationally as well, which is what we do. You go and you target all the institutions that helps with your mission and your vision. So with exporting, I'm looking at Exim Bank, which helps with exporting. In terms of developing my skills, because as I mentioned before, I know nothing about business. I approached Creary to help me with that. YBTT, Youth Business of Trinidad and Tobago, to also help me with that. I did a lot of work with them and still do. They also as well give loans as well. And Exim Bank help you with exporting. And Export TT as well help you with exporting, you know, through TT BizLink, which is something I'm in the process of doing because I want to export internationally. I do it on a small scale, but when you have to do it on a large scale, you have to have the proper documentation in place. So what I really want to say is you all start off with a vision and a mission, as everybody mentioned. Know exactly where you want to reach and make sure you plan and strategize the steps in order to reach there.
Right. So you mentioned exporting. With any startup of your business, did you have that? Did you think that you would be able to export your product outside of Trinidad and Tobago?
No. When I first got started, I didn't even know you could make handmade products. I thought everything was shipped. Like I was that ignorant and naive at the beginning. I thought that everything in a store was shipped from abroad or something like that. And then when I started to do more and more research, I was like, wait, I could make this myself. I was like, why not more people doing that, you know? And I think along the years and the centuries, persons would have lost the touch of what they used to have, like curry at the beginning. People used to make that, mothers used to make that home in their kitchen. Now everything, you know, is convenience. And I think persons as well need to realize what is their passion, what's their goal. True, at the beginning, exporting totally was not on my agenda. I figured out along the way that a lot of people love my products, and then I used to do events that would cater for the international market. And through those events, persons would always call back and say, hey, how could I, somebody like say, for example, from St. Lucia or the States would call me and say, hey, how could I get your products? And then the pandemic hit, so I was like, hey, I need to go online. I did build my website from scratch and put my products there, and that's how I started to get customers through that.
But you, and, well, in all of this, as Jen was saying before, you registered your business.
Of course, that's top priority. I registered since 2016, and through registering, I know nothing about tax, nothing of those things. And as she mentioned, NDEC has courses when it comes to tax and stuff. I still have to go to that course, but but I think from the beginning, you have to really know all the important documentations you need to have in place in order to get you there, because everything links. So like now how I want to export, certain documentations and stuff have to be in place to export, and everything goes back to your accountant, to finance. So you need to make sure everything is in place, because you might miss that opportunity because you don't have a document. So you need to make sure you have everything in place.
All right. And Emil, I know you mentioned earlier that you would have had a business, and you had to leave the business after a while. Would you venture back into another business later on, or would you advise somebody who, if you had a business before and it may have failed, if they would jump back into another business again?
So Chanel spoke about in your passion. I think entrepreneurship flows not even through my blood, but my soul. Stories way back in primary school, I was trying to broker some deal. You know, so the fact that I'm here in this capacity, helping other businesses, I am already back in business. I mean, I help a lot of businesses.
Because some people are afraid of failure in terms of starting a business.
You see, that's part of the process. Right. Some venture capital firms are going to extend funding to you unless you fail at least 5 times. Okay. You see, that's the difference between debt financing when you get a loan and private equity. Because they kind of come and be a partner with you and help you to grow the business. Right. Those dots that you're talking about, you wouldn't know everything. You can't. You ask a question. They could get somebody to come and help you sit in that space to connect the dots. I think that's one of the things that we do really well. Based on my experiences, is multiple disparate floating parts all over that you have to come and connect to tell a story.
Why I brought this up too is that in entrepreneurship, and I always give people this story with me, because I had a business myself and I ran the business for 4 years. Right. And the business, it failed in the end. Right. And people would always ask me if I regretted starting the business, because we would have lost money because of the fail. And I have no regrets with it, because I always tell people with being an entrepreneur is that yes, you have the path of being an academic. You could go to school and you could get a business degree. Correct. But I will tell you all here today, and I'm sure Chanel and Emil and anybody who started their own business will tell you, there is no other way to learn a business
than doing it.
Correct. Because the things that you would learn doing a business degree or a diploma or anything like that is all in theory. Correct. And as much books as you could read, because I read every single book possible. I had a pizza business. It was called Quick Slice Pizza on Arpita Avenue. And no matter, I read every single book on pizza, on restaurant, on all that, and I learned the most from actually running the business itself.
Have you ever asked yourself why it failed? I wish I had a whiteboard now. You know, have you ever really, that's where the secret sauce is, you know, in delving into the failure.
Into the failures. And I would look back on the business and see that my business would have failed because of mismanagement, and I would take full responsibility for mismanaging the business because of inexperience with that. And one of the downfalls that I had wasn't going to somebody like NEDCO, because I felt as though I should have gone to NEDCO to fund the business instead of trying to gather these funds. I took way longer trying to gather the funding on my own, the seed funding to start the business. If I'd gone to NEDCO, I would have had that. And also with NEDCO, what we would have gotten, me, my business partner and I, we would have gotten that guidance and that coaching. So I was an engineer who tried to start a food business, who couldn't fry an egg. So I knew nothing about cooking, and I wanted to start a food business.
But you understood process.
Right. So the business started to boom, and it was doing great. But then there are other aspects other than the cooking that you need to know. And that's when NEDCO and these facilities and what you all offer as well in terms of the business coaching will come in. Because you need to know how to manage a business and how to run a business. Other than just the idea, or you can make a good pizza, or you can make a good fried chicken, or you can make a good a drink, is that you need to know these processes. And that's why I love what you guys are offering in terms of that assistance and that guidance in terms of owning a business. Because as much as you make that great product, there's way more than, and Chanel will tell you this, there's way more to the business side of things than just the product itself. Yeah. So that's what we want to reiterate today, is that you go and you get that guidance. You go, you see NEDCO. You go. Give us the information. You said YBTT you went to?
Youth Business of Trinidad and Tobago.
Youth Business of Trinidad and Tobago.
And I also did I also was on planting seeds. The first season for planting seeds. So through them I got through with my first store and stuff like that. And there's a lot more other things through Massey. The Nudge initiative, I'm a part of that as well. So Nudge is a collaboration between Anya Youngchi and Massey in order to bring local entrepreneurs to Massey. So if you look at the different locations, you'll see a Nudge stand with locally produced products. They also as well help a lot. They help me a lot in terms of getting from 0 to 100 real quick.
And then we have the community development programs as well. Because
and I did that too.
You did that too? Well, you do everything.
I did that.
You just grasp. And that's one thing I would always advise people. Knowledge is power. So as I wanted to open a pizzeria, and I knew nothing about making pizza, man, we had the best pizza. At that point in time, I would say in the world. Because it's all about knowledge and it's all about learning. And I love that Ricardo went and learned that. And with the community development programs, is once you have that idea and you may not know exactly how to go through with it, you go there and you learn the craft, you learn the skill, you can learn candle making, you can learn the bath and body work stuff as well. In some of those programs, the cooking, the culinary, the carpentry, you have different programs that they would offer that you could go and further yourself. And one thing I would leave young budding entrepreneurs with in terms of with knowledge as well is that gather as much knowledge as you could. You heard NEDCO saying it that they're offering free webinars. I was somebody who would, as I said, I bought every book on the topic to learn as much as I could. And with those webinars that you're offering, and with your YouTube page as well, Ricardo, that you're offering as well, is that people could go and get that knowledge. I remember traveling outside of Trinidad and Tobago to learn about business in terms of pizza. There was a pizza convention in Las Vegas. So I would save up my money and go to the pizza convention and learn about all the different types of pizza and the machinery and all of those things. So whatever business you may be interested in, you just look for something and you start reading up on it and you get the guidance from you guys and you just go out there and do it. And I would like to leave this with you too, is don't be afraid to fail. Because every single successful business that you have seen has failed at some aspect of their business. And I'm sure Chanel will tell you that there will be lessons learned. Your business may be successful now, but I'm sure that there were failures along the way that you would learn. And the best teacher is always failure for me.
Always.
For me. When our business was booming, I didn't learn as much as when the business was failing. Right? So don't be afraid to do it. Head over to one of those community development programs. Call up NEDCO.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your website for NEDCO?
It's not the website.
Is the
still
Facebook
building
page?
Yeah, we're still building the website
still building
at
the
this time.
web-
The
right.
Facebook page.
So check the Facebook
Yeah,
page.
the Twitter and Instagram.
Right, so to check out all their social media pages, get that information, head over to NDEC. And thank you very much for joining us here today. Thank you guys for the great information that you gave and your experiences.
welcome.
I'm sure we motivated somebody out there to start their business on their own, even if you want to do whatever it may be. You start with what you have and build that parachute as you go down with the guidance from our experts. Thank you very much. My name is Rome. We have many more episodes to come, so stay tuned.